Hey YouTube, what's going on? So I told you guys that when I had an update with the Alexa that I would be back on here. I'm a little late because I got this about a week and a half ago. But I did end up sooner than I imagined. Got all the codec stuff in order to be able to shoot on all the formats of my camera and stuff. So I wanted to run through that real quick with you guys. So yeah. So this is the Codex drive. This is 512 gigabytes, and this card allows me 47 minutes of Arri RAW in 2.8K, which is what my camera maxes out in terms of resolution for Arri RAW. It does a half hour of 3.2K ProRes 4x4 XQ. It does, I think, a little over an hour in 3.2K ProRes 4x4. It does over 2 hours in ProRes 422, and if you bump it down to 2.8K, I think you can get almost 3 or 4 hours on this thing. So very versatile. Like anything else, Codex or Arri, these things are built like tanks. Obviously, my card is not in the best physical shape. You can tell that it's been used quite a bit because the paint is missing on the bottom of these grooves here. And then the card reader is this guy, which again has definitely seen better days in terms of physical presentation, but the thing is fully operational. There's no issues with it whatsoever, and that's why it's here, because it was sold to me relatively cheap compared to what it's actually worth due to its physical condition, which I always find really funny that like the physical condition of something can really knock the price down, but it's fully operational. I don't know. Whatever. So it's a dual card reader. Obviously the card just fits in like this. If you want to eject the card, the cool thing with the Codex cards is it has a little eject button, so you would press this first, either in here or in the camera, and then wait for the light to change, and then you would eject it. It takes 2 of these, as I said, and then the interface on the back to my Mac is USB and then SAS. So the SAS actually runs the footage, and then the USB is just a controller interface for the Codex software on my computer to read and let me know like what's attached to my computer and whatnot. So no footage actually runs through the USB. I'm just saying this to let people know, in case you want to invest in this workflow, you need to be able to operate through SAS. You can't just run this thing through USB. So how do I do that? Because this is obviously a very old interface. Nobody fucking uses this anymore. You have to get a converter box. Now the converter box is plugged into my computer, so I'm not going to pull that out right now. But essentially what the converter box does, and I will give you my exact converter box, it's called the Echo Express SE1. So just remember that name. That converts this signal to a Thunderbolt signal, which my Mac Studio runs Thunderbolt. So given the speed of this system, I can actually edit in DaVinci Resolve Arri RAW or ProRes directly off this card. I don't have to move any files. If I'm doing something fairly light where my entire project is on this card, I don't have to move anything. And the cool thing, because this is a dual card reader, and I'm planning on getting at least 1 or 2 more of these cards before June, because June I have a wedding in Chicago, and obviously weddings have a lot of footage. So it's going to be really cool to be able to put 2 of these cards in, edit, and obviously the wedding I'm not shooting Arri RAW, I'm going to be shooting in ProRes to get the most bang for my buck with these cards. So I'm hoping, honestly, to be able to get the entire wedding in 2 cards, but I'm hopefully going to be able to invest and bring 3 just to be safe. So that'll be really cool, to where I don't have to do any real file management or anything in terms of offloading, and I can just put this in, and because of the power of my computer and the speed of these cards and the system and everything, I can just edit straight off of the Codex, and I don't have to copy and do file management and stuff like that. So that's pretty fucking cool. So that is essentially the update that I have for you guys in terms of the Codex. I said I would share it if I got it, and I did. What other updates do I have? Well, Ferris is doing good. I know I mentioned to you guys the new rabbit. Ferris is doing good. He's starting to grow. I think he'll have his major growth spurt here in the next 2 or 3 months. It'll start, and we'll start seeing some real changes in with him. But he's doing good. What else? I thought there was something else that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh, so the video before this one obviously is an album. I don't know how many of you have like looked at that or listened to it yet. Let me explain what's going on with that. So I've always been interested in music. I've always half-jokingly said that the reason why I'm a filmmaker and got into film is because I can't make music. Obviously, my work as a filmmaker is driven by sound, by music. Even though I am a filmmaker and film always comes first to me, like that's who I am, I'm a filmmaker. I've always believed music to be the most emotionally impactful medium of all time. That is my opinion. And with the advancements in AI and software and stuff like that, I decided to kind of leap into the world of AI assisted music creation, in that I give the software an idea of, you know, what I'm trying to relay, the harmonies and the tones and stuff like that, and then the system does all the technical heavy lifting. And I think with how much I stand behind that album, it really changed my mindset about AI, because I'm a filmmaker that is kind of looking at the tools that are being presented, and in the beginning I was feeling kind of threatened by it, as I think a lot of us are, of just like, this isn't art, this is a fucking computer, blah blah blah, like all these irrational things, and kind of, you know, you judge what you don't understand, right? But now, I think Ferris might be having one of his little spaz attacks. He has a lot of energy in the morning, and I know he wants to come out, and he's going to come out in a little bit. Anyway, I'm sidetracking here. I'm sorry about that. But this dude is a fucking ADD magnet, so I apologize. What I'm realizing is, obviously AI is not going anywhere, right? Like, AI is here to stay regardless of the artistic medium or whatever. And it's only going to get better. So it's a matter of figuring out how you can welcome AI into your process. And, you know, I don't do a whole lot of AI related stuff in terms of my film work. That might change in the near future, because I don't know how many of you saw or work with DaVinci. I am 100% DaVinci now. I have been for a couple years. I love DaVinci Resolve. I own the paid version. I paid for the actual studio version or whatever. And there's a beta update, I guess, that is released. I have not installed it on my Mac yet. That might actually be something that I do today. And there's a lot of AI tools that are inside of DaVinci, some of which I'm interested in actually kind of fucking around with and seeing how it could, you know, be useful in my work as a filmmaker. One of the things that I thought was really kind of creepy but interesting is they have this face tracking feature now where you can age yourself differently. You can either make yourself older or make yourself younger, which is kind of weird. But I did want to experiment with that and see, because I do, what this is all leading to, my rambling, is one of the great things about making AI assisted music, that, again, I'm really proud of that album, is, well, now I own the rights to this. I'm not using copyrighted, this isn't copyrighted music. This is music that I own. That album also will be on all the streaming platforms within the next week or two. So Amazon, Apple, Tidal, Spotify, I know there's like a handful of them. It's going to be on all the social media stuff too. So if you search it, like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, it'll be there. So if you want to use it, I mean, whatever. But what I did with that album was just another way to be a storyteller, right? And then I mean, I wasn't even planning for this, but then all of a sudden I thought, like, wait a minute, I could make a music video. Instead of it being a unofficial music video, this would be an official music video. This would be stuff that I owned. And it just enhances the visual storytelling aspect of my filmmaking because I'm now making the sound, if that makes sense. So it's interesting. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there that are very skeptical or very upset about what AI is doing to the world of art. It's a very controversial subject at this point, regardless of what the medium is. It could be photography, filmmaking, music creation, whatever. And I think that for somebody like myself, who obviously I'm very technically knowledgeable in the world of filmmaking, and I've spent over 20 years perfecting that and continue to perfect it and know my way around that, I don't know how to make music. Not in the way that I know how to make film. And so having something like AI carry what I can't to then make something that's mine, that's very interesting to me. And I think it is going to add this level of democratizing to all art that in a lot of ways, okay, could be threatening to some of us, but it also could be very beneficial to people that don't have the technical prowess that a lot of us do, but it then allows them to be self-expressive. And I think at the end of the day, if we put all of our egos aside here, the main joy of art is to be self-expressive, right? And a lot of people have really solid ideas, but they just can't get over that hurdle of the technical aspect of the medium. And so I don't see it as something that is inherently bad, but obviously it's like the moment we make something easier, the moment more shit gets dumped onto everyone. I'm not going to disagree with that. But also the powers that be, whether it be Hollywood or the record labels or whatever, it will give certain people that could have had a chance not that chance anymore, because now they're relying on a computer in order for sales. And I think that's where I'm going to kind of get into the not threatening aspect, but kind of the like, I don't agree with this aspect, in that the higher ups are going to really fuck people over with this. But in the independent world and the world of, you know, just going out and creating and experimenting and throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks, I don't see AI as anything bad. I see it as something of like, well, you know, think about a 15 or 16-year-old kid who just can't quite get the hang of DaVinci or can't quite get the hang of Logic Pro, but he can go into some AI software or some AI thing and hum a melody or write the lyrics like I did. All the lyrics in this album that I just released, I wrote all that. And then I essentially told the system how I wanted it to be, the genre of music I wanted it to be. I hummed some of the fucking melodies because I had it in my head of, well, I want, A Night in December to go like this, and I want Suburbs Under Sodium to sound like this. And so I would hum the melodies, or I would sing very rough because I can't sing, how I wanted it to go, and then it filled the rest of it in, which I thought was just fascinating. I was just like, this is exactly how I wanted it to sound. This is fucking weird. So I don't know. I mean, tomato, to each his own. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on this. And I'm not saying that I completely, fully accept AI, but I do see both benefits and hindrances to this new world of art making, right? And I think that in a certain aspect, we should embrace it, and in another certain aspect, we should kind of be looking over our shoulder. I think two truths can exist here. So that's it. That's my ramble about AI and my album and stuff. So with all that rambling being done, I am planning on making a video for one of those tracks. I just don't know. I'm hung up on like 3 of them, and I don't know which one I want to do. Not to say I can't do all 3 of them, but it's something more along the lines of like, well, I want the first one to be very impactful. This is going to be one of the more solid pieces of artwork that I've done in the film world in a while. And so I want it to count for something. That's just me putting pressure on myself for no fucking reason. But I'm also a perfectionist. And so it'll come in due time. I'm just trying to formulate everything and figure out how to do everything. And that includes, I have to do a lot of screen tests and post-production technical stuff to make sure that the ideas that are in my head I can actually implement with what's available to me. So that's it. That's all I got. I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, be kind to yourself and those around you. Keep creating, keep kicking ass, and I'll talk to you guys soon.